If you're watching this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me from where you're hearing my story. I want to know how far it's reached. Hello, dear friends. My name is Elise Dubois, and I'm 40 years old. I'm a baker from New Orleans, Louisiana, where the French Quarter hums with jazz and the air carries the sweet scent of beignets and pralines. For 20 years I've kneaded dough, baked breads, and poured my heart into every loaf, my hands dusted with flour, my soul tethered to the warmth of my oven. But 3 years ago my bakery failed, and with it my confidence crumbled, leaving me paralyzed by anxiety, feeling like a failure unworthy of a second chance. Tonight I want to share how a simple act, baking for a community kitchen, taught me that courage isn't about grand successes but about showing up, serving others, and rising one loaf at a time. This is a story of fear, healing, and the quiet bravery of small acts. So, grab a warm biscuit and a cup of coffee, settle in, and let me take you through my journey. I grew up in a shotgun house in the lower 9th Ward, raised by my grandmother, Marie, who baked cornbread and gumbo for neighbors, her kitchen a haven of love. As a child, I'd sit on a stool watching her knead dough, her hands strong and sure. "Baking's like life, Elise," she'd say, her voice warm as molasses. "It takes patience and a little faith." I dreamed of owning a bakery, a place where my breads would bring people together, just like her kitchen. At 18, I started working in bakeries, saving every tip, $10 here, $20 there, while studying culinary arts. By 25, I married Paul, a mechanic who loved my biscuits but grew distant when I spoke of my dreams. "Dreams don't pay bills," he'd say, his words stinging. Our marriage ended at 30, leaving me with a small apartment and a heart bruised by his dismissal. At 32, I opened Elise's Hearth, a tiny bakery in the French Quarter, funded with $40,000 I'd saved. Its walls were painted blue like the Gulf, with wooden tables and a counter displaying my sourdough and pecan rolls. For 5 years it thrived. Locals loved my bread, tourists raved about my beignet. But bad loans and a flood damaged the shop, and I couldn't keep up. The bank foreclosed and I lost everything, retreating to a rented room, my anxiety spiraling. Panic attacks hit daily, my chest tight, my breath shallow, my mind screaming I was a failure. I stopped baking, my oven cold, my hands idle. I felt like a loaf that hadn't risen, unworthy of another chance. 2 years ago, I bought a small shotgun house with $30,000 I'd scraped together from odd jobs, a fixer-upper with creaky floors and a tiny kitchen. I painted it blue, hung lace curtains, and set up a small oven, hoping to bake again. But anxiety kept me frozen. I'd stare at flour bags, terrified of failing again. My grandmother's voice echoed, "Patience, Elise," but I couldn't hear it over my fear. I worked part-time at the library, shelving books to pay bills, my dreams buried under self-doubt. I'd sit on my porch at night, the city's jazz mocking my silence, whispering to myself, "You're not enough." Last summer everything shifted. I was walking home, the air thick with humidity, when Jamal, a neighbor who ran a community kitchen, waved me over. His eyes, kind like my grandmother's, sparkled with hope. "Elise, we need bread for the kitchen," he said. "Folks are hungry and your baking could help." The community kitchen fed the homeless and struggling families, a lifeline in a city of contrasts. My stomach knotted. Fear screamed I'd fail, that my bread wouldn't be good enough. "I haven't baked in years," I admitted, my voice trembling. Jamal smiled. "Just one loaf, Elise. That's all it takes." His faith stirred something in me, a flicker of courage like a match in the dark. That night I stood in my kitchen, heart pounding, hands shaking as I mixed flour and yeast. The familiar rhythm, knead, fold, rest felt like a prayer. I baked a simple cornbread, my grandmother's recipe, the scent filling my house with memories. Tears fell as I worked, a mix of fear and hope. What if it wasn't good enough? But I thought of Jamal, of hungry faces, and kept going. The next day I brought the cornbread to the kitchen, my palms sweaty. A man, Thomas, about 50, with weathered hands and a tired smile, took a bite. His eyes welled up. "This tastes like my mom's," he said, his voice cracking. "Like home." My heart surged, joy, pride, a warmth I hadn't felt in years. In that moment I wasn't a failure. I was a baker again. Thomas's words lit a fire. I started baking weekly for the kitchen, simple loaves at first, sourdough rye biscuits. Each batch was a battle against anxiety, my mind whispering I'd mess up. But as I kneaded, I felt my grandmother's hands guiding mine, her voice soothing my fears. The kitchen became my sanctuary, volunteers bustling, pots clanging, laughter mixing with the scent of bread. I met Thomas again, who shared his story, losing his job, his home, his hope after a hurricane. "Your bread gives me something to hold on to," he said. His gratitude healed a piece of me, my anxiety softening with each loaf I shared. I realized courage wasn't about being fearless. It was about showing up, even when I was scared. The kitchen needed more, so I pushed further. I organized a baking drive, asking neighbors to donate ingredients. My hands shook as I pitched the idea at a community meeting, expecting rejection. But people rallied. Miss Rosa gave flour, Mr. Chin brought sugar, even kids dropped off coins. We raised $5,000, enough to buy a new oven for the kitchen. My heart swelled with gratitude, my anxiety quieter. I started teaching volunteers to bake, sharing my grandmother's recipes. Thomas joined, his hands steady as he shaped dough, his smile a mirror of my growing confidence. "You're giving us more than bread," he told me. "You're giving us hope." His words cracked my doubts, and I cried, feeling worthy for the first time in years. But fear lingered. At night I'd stare at my oven, wondering if I'd fail again. My friend Sarah, a library colleague, noticed my hesitation during a shift. "Elise, you're doing incredible things," she said. "Why do you doubt yourself?" I confessed my fear, that one mistake could ruin everything, that I wasn't enough. He hugged me. "Courage isn't about never falling. It's about getting up, baking one more loaf." Her words sank deep, a lesson unfolding. True courage lies in small, consistent acts, not grand victories. I thought of Thomas, showing up daily despite his struggles, and saw my own strength reflected. The kitchen grew, and so did I. We served 200 meals a week, my bread's a staple. I organized a community bake-off, raising $10,000 for supplies. I spoke at the event, my voice steady, sharing my story of failure and recovery. "Baking saved me," I said, tears in my eyes. "It can save others too." The crowd cheered, their warmth wrapping around me like dough rising. My house became a hub. Volunteers gathered, kids learned to bake, laughter filled my kitchen. Thomas baked a cornbread for me, his hands proud. "For you, Elise," he said. I hung his recipe card on my fridge, a symbol of my courage. Not perfect, but enough. Now at 40, my life is a warm loaf, fresh from the oven. The kitchen serves 500 meals monthly, and I'm planning a baking school for youth. My shotgun house, once silent, hums with life. Kids kneading dough, neighbors sharing stories. Anxiety still visits, but it's quieter, tamed by purpose. I bake daily, my hands steady, my heart full. My grandmother's voice whispers, "You're enough," and I believe it. I've learned that courage isn't about big wins but small acts. Kneading dough, feeding a stranger, showing up. That's the real recipe for living. Did you feel my story, friends? I'm sharing it from New Orleans, where my oven glows with hope. Where are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If this tale inspired you, healed a piece of your heart, or made you think, your support means everything. A kind word or a super thanks keeps these stories baking. Check out more on my channel and don't forget to subscribe. With love and warmth, Elise.